Hello and welcome to Strategic Gaming. My name is Matt Taylor, and with me today, the two people who are with me just about every time now. It's nice to have a pretty stable panel I can rely on, because when we first started doing this show, I never knew who was going to show up at any given time. We got the person who can technically say she's been with this podcast since day one. It's Jada Lewis. How's it going, Jada?
Hey, it's going good. I had a lot of watermelon today.
A lot of watermelon?
Yep.
Well, that's always nice. It's always a nice thing. And we got the guy who it took him quite a bit to get his light to the perfect adjusted setting, but looks pretty good. It's Chris Wilkerson. How's it going?
Oh, it's going great. I'm so glad to be home.
Yeah, for those who don't know, Chris was out, he was actually out of town with his work. So that's why we have podcasted. For a while, we were doing this every day. And then it was Chris is I'm gone. And Jada's yeah, I'm doing some stuff. And so we took a brief hiatus from the podcasting life. It was weird, honestly, the past few days not doing this thing. So Survivor Australia, episodes 4 and 5. I think we have quite a bit of interesting things to get into, so I'll just go ahead and get into it. And of course, we'll have our rankings at the end. And then when we get to episode 6 and 7 tomorrow, holy crap, we have a lot to talk about. So, pretty action-packed few episodes here. Episode 4. Right off the bat, we get more stuff with Jerry, where Keith and Tina, they get up early, and they're going to take the boat and go fishing. And Jerry wakes up a little bit after them, and she heads to the boat. And they're like, what are you doing? She's like, well, I'm going to go fishing. So it's this thing where Jerry wants to do what she wants to do and doesn't if other people are up, she's like, well, I'm going to do this thing, even though you were going to do this thing. She does these little petty power struggle things. Thoughts on this, Jada?
Yeah, I feel like she just didn't want to look like she wasn't doing anything and other people were contributing and she wasn't. And so she was just oh, they're going to do something? No, I'm going to take it right out from under them and prove that I'm the one who's getting shit done. And it's just petty childish shit. I don't like her.
Chris?
Yeah, Jada summed up my opinion too. Really petty. You don't need to be doing that. I couldn't live with that on the island. I'd get her kicked off immediately.
But yeah, she's still here. That's
somehow
that's pretty big. Keith and Tina, they really feel on the outs because when it came to that Maryland vote, they didn't want to vote out Maryland, but there was no other choice. Everybody else was heading that way. And also when Jerry named her little group, she named everybody except for them. So, and Tina thought she was on that team. Mm-hmm. So her and Keith are kind of bonding over the fact that they need to work together or they're probably next. Jerry, on the other hand, is wow, did I make a big mistake saying everybody in my alliance? Because that puts a big target on my back and really should not have done that. And then Keith, on the flip, says, yeah, if there's a way that we can get Jerry or somebody of hers that we can't work with off next, that's the only way I'm going to stay in this game. Thoughts on all that? Jada, you first.
Yeah, it's a discussion that I think it's good that they had. And they're getting at some good points because Jerry really is just being really sketchy and iffy. And she's obviously the bad guy of the show, I think. Or of at least of this tribe. Because you can see her being two-faced as she's playing. And so, it's hard not to agree with Keith that we need to get her or someone she works with out so that they can restabilize everything.
Chris, thoughts?
Yeah, again, Jada's summing up my opinion very well. I really hate Jerry on the show from day one. And like we said on the last episode, Jerry is finally realizing she shot herself in the foot by naming everyone in her alliance. That's not a move you make in any strategic game. And she has no game right now.
Yeah, and I really like that Keith and Tina, because in Borneo we saw a lot of people who found themselves on the outs and did nothing about it. Like when Dirk and Sean realized that on the Tagi tribe they were at the bottom, they just continued to hang out with each other and do nothing about it. When the Tagi were taking out the Pagong members, Jenna and Jervis found themselves the only ones. Had someone they could have communicated with and taken out, or taken, try to get on their side, didn't do it. So at least Tina and Keith realized, like, hey, like, we're in some danger. We have a lot of work to do, but we could potentially flip this. So it's good to see that mindset coming into play here in Survivor. Back on the Kucha beach, there's talk of there's gonna be a challenge for chickens. Like, you got to get these chickens, and there's no Komodo dragons or lizards this time to eat them. So, got to build those chicken coops. And Kimmy, she's all like, "Yeah, let's do this challenge because I don't want you guys to get mad at me and vote me off. I'm pretty low on the totem pole here." And Varner is like, "I want chickens so bad so that Scoopin will stop trying to hunt pigs and to shut the fuck up. I want to eat and not have to listen to that guy." Thoughts on just the Kucha and here on these couple of moments, Jada?
Yeah, it was pretty a nice kind of break in all the drama that we've been experiencing from the Jerry and Tina and stuff. So switching over and seeing them talk about the chickens and being like, "Oh man, yeah, if we could just get a chicken so this guy could shut the F up already." Like, that's just a nice, fun moment.
Chris, thoughts on those couple of moments?
Yeah, I mean, Jeff just really sums up everyone's opinion right now. Because me as well, I'm tired of hearing Scoop and talk. Can he just shut up? All the time. He's ruining his game. Oh, I hate when people ruin their game in this show.
Basically, for their chicken reward, it's like a giant slide puzzle, which for me would be terrible. I'm really bad at slide puzzles in particular. And both tribes, it's kind of like a neck and neck thing. But Kucha ends up coming out on top, and at first, they're all like, "Woo!" And then Kimmy's like, "Wait a second, we're gonna kill chickens. I don't really want to kill chickens." And Elizabeth is like, "Guys, we had a reward though. Can we be excited that we have a reward, guys? We won!" Like, I love Elizabeth.
She's just so happy.
Like, because on Ogakor we have Jerry and like some of the really, like, there's a lot of boiling personalities, and then on Kucha, Elizabeth's like, "Guys, we did it. We won something. Aren't you guys happy?" And I'm like, "Yes, yes, I am." And then near the Ogakor beach, there's a wildfire, but the water separates them from the fire, so they don't have to worry about the fire coming into the beach. But it's alarming to see it, to smell it. There's smoke everywhere. Thoughts on their loss for the chickens and then the fire, Jada?
Yeah, I mean, both teams really do need chickens. So it sucks that, only one team got them, because then you're just kind of suffering. You're just starving. So they lose the chickens, and then there's like natural disaster occurring in the background of everything. So it's probably got to get them feeling pretty down.
Okay, and then thoughts on the fire?
Yes, the natural disaster going on in the background is scary, and it's probably got them feeling pretty down.
Chris, thoughts on both of those things?
Yeah, I mean, Ogacor's taken some pretty big hits here. Obviously, both tribes do need chicken because protein is very essential to keep your body running, especially in as tough as a challenge as Survivor is to your body. And just having to see a natural disaster like a wildfire is it's scary. I mean, you don't realize how much fear it can put into a person until you see one. It, I mean, wildfires are nothing to take lightly, and luckily they were safe and no one got hurt. But that they're really heading down right now, and I wish things would look up for them.
Yeah. Sorry, we all this wildfire talk makes me think of Smokey the Bear. That's why I chuckled briefly.
Only you can prevent forest fires.
They should have put that like over like a little clip of the episode. Like they're always looking for sponsors. They could have had that. I don't know. Then on that, Tina is over Jerry. She's like, you know what? I need to sway a couple of votes. So Tina's talking to Amber, and more specifically, she's talking to Colby, trying to get Colby to, hey, Jerry's not good for your game. She's gonna backstab you at any moment. Like, come over here with us, and me and Keith, like we're not gonna turn on you. So think about this. Amber's a little harder to sway. Amber's a little closer to Jerry. And Colby goes and talks to Keith because he's like, no matter what I decide to do, I do want to maintain my relationship with Keith, stay close with Keith, because he's like he's one of the only guys out here I really like talk to, like hang out with, and he has a lot of useful tools. I can use Keith in this game. Thoughts on all that gameplay, Jada?
Yeah, you were right when you started this off by saying this was like action packed, but it's action packed with strategy. There's a lot of discussions going on throughout these couple episodes, and it's really nice to see them really like getting into like the meat of the game now. And I think Colby already knows that Jerry's dangerous because he's talked about it, about how he won't really ever trust her for real. And so I think it's a nice effort on Tina's part to be like, hey, but Colby, I know what happens because I've seen it, but he's smart enough that he didn't really even need to have that conversation.
Chris, thoughts there?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely right. There's so much strategy going on in this game, and it's really I think the perfect season to talk about on this show. I mean, we're strategic gaming, and there's some strategic gaming in the show, obviously. But I mean, everybody is thinking ahead in the game and thinking about current alliances and where they need to be to further themselves in the game. And I mean, it's just strategy. Like I said, everybody's playing a really good game. Tina is smart to go after Jerry. Jerry, even though she is so very, very annoying, is kind of running their tribe right now. But on the other hand, Tina going to Colby like she did is a great move, and Colby not trusting Jerry at all really is very smart. We see so much gameplay, and it's great. I mean, this is just what we need to talk about on the show.
Yeah, and I really like that Tina. Again, we can compare this to Borneo in the fact that like most of the time when somebody had a problem with somebody, it was just drama and like an argument. Whereas Tina, not going to argue with her, is just going to go and try to take votes away from her and to sway it on Tina's side. Tina's playing a very low-key game. She's trying to remain very under the radar, but she's having very good conversations with people. And like she understood even immediately that Amber is going to be pretty hard to swing. Amber spends a lot of time with Jerry, but Colby, that's the guy I need to do a lot of work on, but also that I have the biggest chance of swaying to my end of the game. They don't even talk about trying to sway Mitchell. They're like, Mitchell is completely 100% in Jerry's pocket. Amber's in Jerry's pocket, but not as much. But Colby, that's our person. That's something we can get. That's something we can work with. So her and Keith both. This is a very good play that they're trying to pull off. Back on the Kucha camp, Roger's so excited to kill a chicken, eat a chicken. Meanwhile, Kimmy, Not so much. Kimmy's very distraught. She doesn't want to be even near the camp when they're eating them and killing them, and uh, like they're because she's a vegetarian, she's just very anti killing of the chickens. Scoopin, he is also worried about his spot. He's like, right now that they're being fed and I'm not the one doing it, I got to figure out how to get in a better position because they could very well vote me out because now they don't really necessarily need me. Thoughts on all of that, Jada?
I think it's funny how they were like, Jeff was like, man, if we could just win this challenge, get these chickens so Michael would shut up. And then they win the chickens, and Mike is still like, man, I still gotta like find something to do. Like, we have these chickens now, and like, I gotta provide for my tribe, you know? Like, I'm like, oh my god, there has to be something else in the camp that you can do other than provide food, but also requires you to not speak.
Chris, thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, Jada is absolutely right. Scooping from day one really has not done much so far, except for perform uh, very well in a few different challenges here
Mm.
and there. But he's always talking about how he wants to be the guy, and yet he hasn't brought anything to the table. And now they have chickens, so what are you doing? You're just a dog chasing your own tail. He's going around in circles, and he's got to find something quick or he's gone.
It almost makes me think like if Rich was unable to find fish or like catch fish in Borneo, would this have been what he did? Just
Mm.
consecutively like trying to provide but doesn't, and then just freaks out about it the whole time. I mean,
No, because
No,
Rich
Rich,
has a stronger character than that, than just providing fish. Rich would have found something else in camp that he could do that would make him um, stand out because he played a smart game, and I don't think Michael is playing a smart game.
is Michael even playing a game, or is he just trying to hunt?
He's just trying to hunt a pig.
I think that's it. I think it's
This is
like
just a hunting trip for him.
yeah,
comes in day one, I'm gonna get a pig. Day two, still looking for that pig. Like that's all he does.
he's gonna get kicked out and still be looking for that pig.
Yeah. On the boat back home, looking for sea pigs. uh, and then on the Ogacore side, Mitchell and Amber are having a conversation that Colby is acting weird. We need to try to get Colby refocused because if he flips, this is bad. This is bad for us. Amber especially, because at first Mitchell's like, well, maybe not. And Amber's like, no. Like, hey, there's something's going on here. We need to try to get to the bottom of it. Mitchell's like, yeah, you're probably right. Colby then goes hunting, and Jerry takes this as an opportunity to get Colby alone. So Jerry runs off with Colby on this hunting trip. They're also looking for pigs, but not in as dramatic of a way. And Colby is like trying to calm Jerry down, like you don't have anything to worry about, like whatever I do is fine. And Jerry's like, I can see you distancing yourself from me. And Colby's like, I'm just doing what I have to do for my game. This isn't personal. I have nothing against you. I like you as a person, but this is a game. And then in Colby's confessional, he's like, look, Jerry has a name tag as a puppet master. I'm not going to be in her pocket this game. I came here to win Survivor, not to play for someone else. Thoughts on all of that stuff there, Jada?
Yeah, it was really interesting trying to see Jerry put her claws in Colby, and then Colby just kind of be like, "Yeah, Jerry, I'm just gonna do me if that's cool, but like, I still like you though, and like, we get along, like we can have a good like tribe together, but like I'm just playing my game." And then immediately following that by that confessional where he's like, yeah, she's literally trying to be a puppet master, and I'm not anybody's bitch. Was like, yes, my main man, so good.
Chris, thoughts on that?
Yeah, I'm loving Colby in this game, and I knew I would from day one. He's a really great player, and he's owning Jerry right now. I mean, everything he says needed to be said, but me as a player, if I was in the game, I might not have actually said it to Jerry, and I might have just played along until I booted her out of the show this week. But hey, Colby's gonna do Colby, and we'll see.
Yeah, Colby has this gameplay where, like, even if he's making a move against you, he's still going to try to be your friend at the end of it. Like, we're not even in the jury stage of the game, but he's not trying to have anybody leave with a sour taste in their mouth about him specifically. And he's playing on a lot of levels. For this being season 2 of Survivor, Colby is playing very smart. They're all really playing really advanced as compared to Borneo. But and again, like, you wouldn't expect the muscular guy who works on cars for a living to think this much about relationships in relation to a game like this. So I really enjoyed watching that. But you can tell Jerry is panicking. Like, she's like, "Shit, if we lose Colby, we could the sink could potentially start sinking." Then we go back to the Kucha camp. They're all just waking up, and Nick, he's just outside, and he's like, "Hey, there's a pig over there." And immediately Scoop is like, "Pig!" And he's like, grabs the knife and sprints over to the pig. And he's like, "Nick, get around it, get around it." Nick's like, "What? Okay, all right." And Nick, like, goes around it, and the pig starts moving toward him. Nick's like, "Don't come at me, don't come at me." And Scoopin goes over and just starts stabbing the pig. And Nick's like, "Oh my God, oh God, no, oh." Scoopin got a pig. He killed a pig with a small knife. And everyone's like, even like, Alicia comes over. She's like, "Wow, this is disgusting." And Nick's like, "I'm gonna be sick. This is so gross." And Varner's like, "What happened?" And they're like, Scoop had killed a pig. And he goes, "Oh, cool." And he immediately beelines to Kimmy. And he's like, "Hey, Kimmy, they killed a pig." And she's like, "Ah!" And she, like, runs away doing her whole, like, animals thing. And he's laughing at her. Oh my God! Thoughts on all of that with the Nick being afraid and Scoop and killing a pig and Varner fucking with Kimmy about it. Jada?
Pure comedy. You know, I didn't know when I signed up for this that watching Survivor would give me so much just pure comedy that you can't write that. You know? So good. And you know what? Michael, like, finally getting his pig, but after they get the chickens, but finally getting this pig. And, like, you're kind of hoping he'll finally shut up about it, but you know he won't. And
Nope.
then Nick's involvement with the hunt was, and it's just comedy. And then Jeff being like, "Kimmy." It's a good moment. Good moment.
Chris, thoughts on those 3 things?
It is funny, but the only part about this that I like is Varner's comment and making Kelly squeal like a pig. Haha.
Well, like,
But
oh, sorry, go ahead.
yeah, I mean, Nick on my team, obviously, he's kind of looking like a bitch right here. I mean, Nick, it's just a pig, buddy. You know, like, when you order some pig, that's how they do it. I mean,
Yeah, but this is, like, not just a pig. This is
buddy.
like a wild boar. Like, they can hurt you.
Yeah, but if you are in the wild, even though they do have chickens, obviously they have chickens, so they might not need meat, but you need meat. A pig right there, you have to
I
kill
think
it.
he was more afraid of Scoopin because Scoopin's like, toward the second. He's like, "Don't come at me!" Like, because I don't know. It seemed like the thing that he didn't like about it was Scoopin's intensity.
And that I agree. I don't like Scoopin's intensity, and I'm kind of mad he got a pig because I want him to shut up about it, but I know this is not going to do it. Like Jada said, he's still going to talk about it all the time. And oh my God, Scoopin, just find something else because a pig literally had to walk into your camp and someone else see it so you could kill it. Like, you need a new job.
And kill it very, very gruesomely.
Yeah, he grabbed like the smallest knife and just like that was a spear at one point, and instead now he's just handling it.
That was like a crime of passion.
Yeah. Like he's like, won't vote me off. Like, oh shit.
Take out all your frustrations on the pig.
Because like you can tell this is not Nick's element because he's just like, hey guys, there's a pig over here, and immediately somebody's trying to stab it. And he's kind of taking this in, and then Scoopin's like, go over there, get around. And he's like, okay, just calm down. And then, yeah, Scoopin got his pig. That's like, that's been his goal. But just, yeah, Varner fucking with Kimmy about it was like the icing on the cake. Because Varner's like, oh, like I thought he was going to be like, damn it, now I'm going to have to listen to him talk about the pig. And no, he just takes this opportunity to go mess with Kimmy for his own personal entertainment. Let's see here. Oh, and at this point, Scoopin is cutting open the pig, and Roger's just, Roger's a farm guy. He's over there with him cutting the pig up, because he knows how to do all this stuff. He's desensitized to this. But Scoopin takes the pig's blood and marks across his cheeks. He's like, I'm gonna wear this to the next challenge. He says, life is just a blending of experiences. And this is one of my experiences.
What the fuck, Scoopin?
Which kind of creeped me out just a little bit. Because again, Roger's just over there like nothing, and that's fine. Got skinning a pig, do what you gotta do. But Scoopin is a little primal with that. And he's on top of the world. He's like, yes, I did it. I did my thing. I once again, put myself in a place that makes me look good. I'm glad. He's saying all of this as he's peeling the skin of the pig back and stuff. Then for their immunity challenge, it's like a trivia challenge between the two teams, and they have to move up spaces and shit. Everybody's doing really well except for Alicia cannot get a question correct. And it seems like Oka, just like a lot of challenges, it seems like Okafor is gonna win. Because it comes down to Tina and Alicia to answer this question. And Alicia gets it right. And then they end up winning. So, Okafor gets their third straight loss in a row. Now, last season, it was literally back and forth the whole time. It's dead even. So, what are the thoughts here seeing a tribe 1 and 4 here? Jada?
Yeah, so last season, with it going back to back and being so even, all the challenges were a lot more evenly paced as well. But now that Kucha has won so much and Okafor has taken all these losses and another one this episode, it's gonna really affect, I think, their gameplay. And I'm wondering if how they even go about that, because they're there's a smaller team, but they have to have enough spirit and strength and survivor skills as a team who is much larger than them and who is already better at the challenges. So it's making me think a little bit more about how they have to set the games up.
Yeah, Chris, thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely right. There's so much thought going into this game, but right now, Okafor is falling short in the challenges. There's so much strategy, that when it comes time for a challenge, they can't really function well enough as a team to pull the victory all the way through. Because they really have been so close every time, and yet they still end up going to tribal. And now, like Max said, it's been 3 in a row, and things are not looking good for their tribe, and they could get pagonged.
Yeah, when you lose 3 times in a row, it does, and also they've only won like a couple of awards. Like they've been losing a lot consecutively, and that does do a number on your pride and your spirit. Because part of going in and winning these challenges is you have to be like on top of your game and have faith in your tribe, and I don't think Ogre does. Whereas Kucha, even though they are a little bit of discrepancies, they're still like Kucha strong. Like let's do this. Ogre not so much. There's a divide, and it's kind of draining the team. And back on their camp, Mitchell, he's like, I'm so excited to get to vote out Keith. He'll be out of my hair. This is gonna be so easy. Keith, he's like, I just want to break up the 4. He's like, if things, if I get voted out later, whatever, I want to break up. He's like, really? I think he says, I just don't want to get voted out before Jerry. Like, if I could just beat Jerry, I'm okay with it. Colby, he's going into this a little conflicted because he's like, if I stay with the 4, I take out Tina and Keith. But am I next with Amber, Mitchell, and Jerry, or do I try to shake things up? And what if it doesn't even work? Like there's a whole lot of variables happening to where it's hard to tell what the right move is. Thoughts going into tribal council, Jada?
Yeah, obviously this is a divided tribe right now, and they have had a lot of background drama and background strategy and background issues going on outside of the main game, that it's causing like a real rift in what should be a whole team. And so you really just don't know what's going to happen until it does.
Chris?
Yeah, Jada's absolutely right again that they're not functioning as a team. They're functioning as alliances, and they're playing games, and there's so many different games going on in their tribe right now. It really is hard to pick the right play because you don't know what's going to help you in the end right now. As much as you can think about it, you can't know. And right now, Colby is struggling with that super hard. But I'm going to state right now, it should be Jerry.
Sorry, I dropped a piece of paper. Now I picked it back up. Yeah, it's a tough situation to be in because even for Colby, there's arguments for both ways why he should do a certain move. And you don't want to be the person who makes a move and it's the wrong move, and now you're in a bad spot because he is in such a good spot right now that jeopardizing that in the game it's rough. It's a gamble, but sometimes you got to make a gamble if you want to win. So they go and they vote, and our votes are coming out 3-3. We got a tie, which we only saw once in Borneo, which was the Final Four. So Jeff's like, all right, we're going to revote. Obviously, Mitchell, you got 3, you're not going to vote. Keith, you had 3, you're not going to vote. And he's like, but we're going to give you a chance to plead your case, just like they did with Sue and Rich. Plead your case to your tribe mates, and we'll revote. Keith says, I can help in the challenges. I'm strong. We can be strong. You can use me. We cannot get a tribal again, and with me, we probably won't. Mitchell's up, and he says, I'm weak, I'm tired, and Keith's probably your best bet because I'm not going to be very good moving forward. And they revote. And it comes out 2-2. We tied again. And Jeff's like, well, I know you guys have some questions on how this works, but basically we're going to go off past votes. Keith, how many past votes have you had? And he says, none. Mitchell, how many votes have you had? One. Sorry, Mitchell, you have been voted out of the game. And he snuffs his torch promptly. Final thoughts on the tie vote and final thoughts on Mitchell. Jada?
Yeah, the tie vote was I guess it was a little more expected than unexpected, just because they were so divided, and the fact that it remained a deadlock was interesting. It kind of showed us more of the rules for Survivor, and now they really do have
A fallback plan?
yeah, thank you. And Mitchell going home. Honestly, I like Keith more, and a lot of it's probably just because my main guy Colby likes Keith more. But Mitchell literally said, like, Keith is stronger than I am right now. I'm weak. I'm tired. Like, I probably won't be much help. And they still, like, deadlocked. And I'm like, come on. So it's not even a big deal seeing him go.
Chris, thoughts on that tie vote? And then, Mitchell was your guy.
Yeah, Mitchell's speech. Let's just what it took me so long to process this play in the game and to even think of one single possibility in the entire world where this would work. I don't know what kind of brain Mitchell has, but I hope he really was just too exhausted to continue, because if he wasn't, he sucked. I mean, he sucked at Survivor.
Yeah, first this tie was crazy, because like last season in Borneo, it took us all the way to the end to get a tie vote. Here, this is episode 4, and we've already tied. And it was such a clear divide of like Mitchell, Jerry, Amber, Colby, Keith, Tina. And to see it play out, obviously, with past votes coming into place. And now you have to be worried about anytime your name comes up, because it could bite you in the ass later.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, that's a whole new level of the game that is now a thing. Because if they would have done the past vote thing in Borneo, like had Kelly not switched, Rich would have went home, because Rich had like 12 votes. Sue didn't receive any that I remember before then. So, yeah, that's interesting to think back on that, what could have been there. Episode 5. Jerry is like, they got me on that one, but I've got to try to pick up the pieces and try not to go out next. Colby's like, just because I voted that way this time doesn't mean I might not flip and go with Jerry and Amber this time. Because Colby, he's like, I'm in the middle. Keith and Tina are on one side, Jerry and Amber on the other side. And whatever side I decide to go to, I go to. But I'm not completely 100% decided on who. Thoughts on that, Jada?
Yeah, Colby is very much playing the middle ground right now. And I think it might cause some issues. The other team members might see him as playing like a double agent or being two-faced, rather than just playing honestly, which is what he's trying to do. He's just trying to play honestly and do what he thinks would be best for his game and for the tribe's game. And then obviously that conflicts with some people's agendas, and I think it's going to disrupt the waters a little bit, and we'll see how it goes, I guess.
Yeah, back on the Kucha side, they have to move their fire away from their shelter because it is like popping embers into their shelter. And, like, foreigners like, yeah, I woke up and there was a little ember in my jacket. And then Kimmy is, still doing her thing on the chickens, and Scoopin's like, just stop. You're being dramatic. You're being ridiculous. Just stop. Just calm down. Thoughts on that, Jada?
Yeah, Kimmy is becoming very attached to these chickens, and she's I'm not surprised by it because she's a vegetarian or vegan or whatever, and it feels so strongly about animals. But like you said that you wanted to win for your tribe so your tribe can have them, but now you're like acting like this as if they like shouldn't have them, and so that's gonna cause some real disruptions.
Chris?
Yeah, I totally agree. Kimmy, I get that you are a vegan and you really care about animals. I do too, but there's a difference because I'll still kill an animal and eat it, but it still means a lot to me. I mean, you can play both sides this way, and I mean, I get that's her lifestyle, but I'm not too sure how it's going to work for her in the game of Survivor because that's not everybody else's lifestyle.
Mm.
And sometimes fitting in is the best possible way. Like Colby's situation being in the middle, it's a very dangerous place to be, but it's also a very powerful place, and most people would like to be in that position where you're the vote that matters the most, but it can also really hurt your game.
Yeah. Yeah, Colby in the middle, it's a great spot. Most people really want to be in this spot. So you basically choose the course of the game going forward. With the whole Kimmy thing, she needs to put her personal feelings aside and understand that it's a tribe, not, Kimmy's house. So back over core, they feel a little rough, and Jerry's still doing her thing where she's just gonna pick at teeth and make herself happy that way. Then Kimmy and Alicia get into it because Alicia goes to kill another chicken, and she's like, "Well, shouldn't you kill them every other day instead of every day because we've already been eating?" And Alicia's like, "I'm tired of you running your goddamn mouth about these chickens, about everything. Just shut up. Just shut up. Like, I know what I'm talking about. Just shut your mouth." And she's like, "I don't know why you're getting all defensive on me. Like, I'm just trying to say that we should space it out. That's all I'm saying." And they argue for a long time. And then Scoopin says, Kimmy's pretty dirty. Like, she doesn't bathe that much since we've been here. And I could see, instead of tan lines, I see dirt lines on Kimmy all the time. Well, you know what, Scoopin, you're in luck because there's a reward challenge coming, and we're gonna get you shampoo and toothpaste, and you're gonna get 2 items of your choice if you win. And they choose like blankets and spices. Yes. And basically, it's like kind of like the stretcher challenge from Borneo, but they have to carry all the tribe pretty much individually instead of just one person. So it's like a vamped up version of the Borneo challenge. And so they're testing their little stretcher, and Elizabeth's so happy. She's laying on the stretcher, and she's like, "Oh, this is so much fun." Thoughts on the Kimmy Alicia blow up and Kimmy being dirty and this reward challenge coming up? Jada, then Chris. I'll be right back. So you guys, Jada talk, then Chris talk. I'll be back.
Okay. So, Kimmy with the chickens thing and her argument with Alicia is, they both have good points because, realistically speaking, you should be spacing out your food just a little bit. Obviously it's healthy to have more protein, especially in their environment, and Alicia's right about that. But if you don't know for sure when you're going to get your next meal, you should probably make your food last a little bit longer. However, Alicia complaining about Kimmy always having something to say and always complaining and going on and on about these chickens is absolutely right as well. And so it really just blew up and turned into a very, very big thing that is the whole camp witnessed. And so that was coming. I think we all saw that coming. So that followed by the dirty Kimmy comment was kind of just like, wow, they really are piling on Kimmy right now. And then what was the last thing?
The upcoming reward.
Oh, the upcoming reward. Yeah. Elizabeth waiting on that little stretcher was so funny. She is so good. It was really interesting seeing each tribe build the stretcher because, the one tribe, they all worked together pretty well. and tried to like get it all done, and then Jerry's tribe are just like still have this rift, and Jerry's like trying to take control, and then like nobody wants
Well,
to listen to
Colby,
Jerry.
like Jerry's picking at Colby now.
And it's like, seriously? And so then they're just like definitely not as together as the other tribe is. And I think it's really, you can see it now that you can see it happening so much. It's like you don't even have faith that they're going to be able to finally pull through in a challenge because they can't even pull through for each other.
Thoughts on all of that, Chris?
Yeah, the argument was a very difficult point for me to really gauge on because both women have very good points and very valid arguments. Kimmy is saying you have to space your food out because you don't know when your next meal ticket is. That's absolutely right. But also on the other side, Alicia, she is still right because of the way she builds muscle ups so much. She has to take in so much protein, and her personally should be eating that much protein. But when you are on Survivor, your lifestyle has to fit to Survivor. And that actually segues me right into Dirty Kimmy comment. Again, we see Kimmy's lifestyle throwing a kink in her game. We've seen it from day one, and it just keeps continuing. And again, you have to adapt, and you're in Survivor now. You're not at home. This is a game. This is not your life. It could be life changing, but only if you play. And you actually have to play. You don't have to pretend like you're at home trying to play Survivor. You are there. You're playing Survivor. And just play it. And Elizabeth just being so happy to just, I mean, her and Roger are just so happy just to be there and just to be experiencing Survivor. I mean, we don't really even see any game play going on that much between Roger and Elizabeth. They're just happy to be there. They're just really having a good time. And it's so nice to just see that every once in a while because there's so much strategy going on in other people's heads. And everybody's so negative right now. And just to see people who are positive to just be playing Survivor, it's wonderful.
Yeah, and then so my thoughts on the Kimmy Alicia thing. Both sides had points, but Kimmy I would probably have sided with on this because you do need to space out. They like you've been eating pig too on top of your chicken, so just space it out a little bit. I know that she's a bodybuilder and needs to like get that protein or whatever, but you're on Survivor. You're gonna have to go without. You can get your lifestyle back in check when you go back home. But everybody at this point was so fed up with Kimmy, I think it was just any little thing was going to set somebody off. Then the dirty thing, this really should just go without saying. You're on an island, you're getting dirty, you're getting sweaty, and you really don't have all the proper cleanliness products you have at home. Just get in the water every once in a while, Kimmy. Just kind of, brush yourself off a little bit, like bathe at least every other day, because I know it's not going to be perfect. You're not going to be a bed of roses, but just try. That is the best word I can think of there. Just try. Like Chris said, this game isn't your life. It could be life changing, but you have to play it to do that. I do like that quote there, Chris.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Back to let's talk about, like Jada brought up, about Jerry cannot get it together. She has to be in control so much that she's pissing off Colby, who is on the fence. How the hell are you going to piss off somebody who's on the fence right now? Come on, woman. It's terrible. So they do the challenge. Kucha ends up coming out on top again. Ogakor is crushed, especially Amber. Amber is crying, saying, like, I'm just so tired of losing. I'm so tired of losing every time we come to these challenges. Thoughts on that, Jada?
Yeah, and you know what? You can really feel Amber's frustration and like understand it because they have just been getting absolutely crushed by Kucha, and they really needed this win to get some sustenance to kind of like help them be able to pull ahead. And they're having all of this stuff going on back at camp because Jerry's being crazy. And it's like if they could just get like one positive thing, I think it would help the whole tribe really be able to turn things around. And so you really do understand, like absolutely understand where Amber's coming from.
Chris, thoughts?
Yeah, Jada is absolutely right. I feel like my little bit of sports experience kind of helps me drive home this point that you have to be a team and you have to be cohesive and work together because not only are you on Survivor with so many other people, but you're divided into two different teams. And if your team keeps missing all these eliminations, you don't have to go home. So if you can work together and win competitions, nobody has to go home right now. You just have to work together. I mean, it doesn't always have to be about, oh, well, I want to win the game. Why can't right now we win the game? It's just simple little things that could help their game a little bit. I mean, you don't even have to like the person that you are working with. You just have to work together. I mean, just like a job, you can hate people, but get it done. I mean, it's not that hard.
Yeah, I completely agree. It's just get it together, people. Pull one out. That's all you need to do. We could tell by how they were building the stretcher that this isn't going to go well. This team is bad at working together. Whereas Kucha, like we said, they're always Kucha strong. That's why, like, there's some people on Kucha that shouldn't have made it this far in the game, but they keep winning, so they've made it this far in the game. Then at Kucha, people like Elizabeth and Kimmy, they're like, we feel bad for Overcore. They're crying, they're in bad spirits. That's rough. And Varner's like, screw that. I don't give a damn about any of the people on that tribe. Cut all their heads off as far as I'm concerned. Get them out of here. I'm here to win a game. I'm not feeling bad for these people. Thoughts on that, Jada? And would you have that same mindset?
I know this is a game and that you're there to win, but displaying and experiencing a little bit of human compassion sometimes is not going to kill you, Jeff. Because he's kind of been like a dick the whole time about everything. And like, a lot of times he's right and he has a point. And, you're there to win, but like, just because you're there to win doesn't mean you just have to lack an empathy and stuff. You know what I mean? Like, you can be like, yeah, sucks for them, but at least it's giving us the opportunity or giving me the opportunity to further my game. It's a much nicer way of saying it rather than like, yeah, I don't give a fuck. So,
Chris, thoughts?
Yeah, I kind of relate Varner to the devil on the side of your shoulder. The little guy who's saying all the things that are in your head, but you might not want to say because we don't really have the ultimate angel in Varner. He's obviously not the good guy. He's not there to be the good guy. He's playing this like it is a game because once again, Survivor is a game. You can show compassion. I mean, it doesn't hurt. Some people even use it very well in their game and have so far. But, I mean, we've seen a lot of other people kind of win games like this. And I don't know if that means anything for this season, but sometimes you got to play Survivor like it's a video game and not care.
Yeah, I don't know. Me and my gameplay, like, I have human compassion. If Amber's crying, I'm like, oh, okay, that's not good for her. Like, I don't want her to cry. But as far as the whole, like, chop their heads off, get them out of here thing, yeah, that's my kind of gameplay. That's how I go about these kind of games without emotion. Uh, but he is a little devious. Like, he is a little bit, like, mischievous. And for the entertainment value, I love it. But it is a little like, wow, like I genuinely hope Varner is not like that in real life, which from his Facebook page I don't think he is. He seems like a sweetheart, but I think there is just something about going out there and trying to win this game that can turn you into a hero or a villain. Then they go to the immunity challenge where it's a maze. You have to go through and get like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 these little discs, but they're numbered, and you can't get like 3. You have to get 1 and then 2. You have to give them an order. So you have to go around this maze as a tribe together, and get these numbers. And Ogakor winds up winning, working together to win a challenge. Um, thoughts on how big this win is, Chris? You first.
Yeah, I mean, this win absolutely speaks volumes. Ogakor needed this desperately. I mean, for not only morale, but just to finally not have to vote somebody out of your tribe and to just have that weight off your shoulders. Ogakor's looking up right now, and I hope more things go their way.
Jada, thoughts?
Yeah, honestly, the only thing that sucks about Ogakor winning is that they don't have a chance to vote Jerry off.
Absolutely.
Which probably wasn't going to happen anyway. But I was really rooting for them and watching them power through the maze and get done and work as a team and finally get that immunity was really like vindicating. So yeah, I'm really happy for them, and I'm glad that they finally, after all this time, have a chance to relax at home rather than hike up and vote somebody out.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Like, especially when you've lost this much, a win like this is so big. Because if they'd have lost again, Ogakor would be down to 4 people, and Cooch should be at 7. Going in the merge is so close. I believe after the next vote off, they're at the merge. And being down that much at the merge is a big, big deal. Like, there's been a lot of speculation to if a pagonging could happen, but when the numbers are 7-4, a pagonging just seems like, why wouldn't we do this? So, I'm sure they really needed it. They got it done. Good on them. Back at the Kucha side, everyone's like, Kimmy. Get Kimmy out, vote Kimmy. Easy vote, we vote Kimmy. Roger's like, I really don't want to vote out Kimmy. I would rather vote out Alicia. She's a threat, and we're close to the merge. We should be looking at threats. And Elizabeth's like, yeah, I would like to vote out Alicia too. She is a threat. Game talk coming from Roger and Elizabeth. Thoughts on that there, Jada?
Well, these two cute friends are finally discussing gameplay, but in such a savage way. And I think we can all agree that Kimmy's being annoying as heck, but they also make a good point that Alicia is dangerous. So, I mean, it's really nice to see 2 people who are normally just so happy-go-lucky talk about the game for just a couple minutes.
Chris?
Yeah, absolutely right. The nice guys might not finish last in this one, guys. I mean, there's gameplay going on in the wonderful world of Elizabeth and Roger. Nice people playing the game. And oh my god, is this the first time we've seen a nice person make a super strategic move?
Probably.
Because, I mean, they hit it out of the park. Alicia, super big threat. She is a person who is fairly well liked, who is in a sub alliance with somebody who is not very well liked, who is playing a very good game right now. And Alicia herself is playing a very great game right now. And she could be very dominant in challenges from here on out. And after the merge, it's the end game, and people are just they're looking to see who can be the last person, and they start to really play for themselves and not necessarily play for their tribe because they're just one big tribe now. It's who's going to be the winner. And once the merge reaches that point, I think Alicia might want to take over and really big threat, and they're looking at her, and it's great.
Yeah, I'm glad to see these two finally just thinking about something other than like they're happy to be there. So at Tribal, the vote comes out 6-1, and Kimmy ends up going out 6-1. Final thoughts on Kimmy before we get to the power rankings, Jada?
Yeah, she was getting pretty annoying. She was a liability to her team because of her lifestyle choices, what with being vegan. And, I understand we all have the choice to decide, what we can and can't eat. And unfortunately, that really came to really affect her in her game because she brought too much of that personal side of her diet into it. And, and then once she was nagged about it, she became just super annoying to deal with. And so it's not surprising that she's gone, and I'm okay with it.
Chris, final thoughts on Kimmy?
Yeah, I mean, I respect her lifestyle 100%. She could have played her lifestyle off a little bit better in the show and not been all over everyone all the time. And you can be the way you want to be and still play Survivor, but don't just nag people about it and become annoying. Just be yourself and not worry about anybody else. I mean, it's their lives. Let them do what they want to. If they want to slaughter some chickens, let them slaughter some chickens. I mean, just because you care about animals does not mean you have to make another person care about animals. And I don't really think she saw that going into the show. And you can play Survivor with the lifestyle, but I just don't feel like it helped her out the way she made everything sound in the show.
Yeah, my thoughts on Kimmy being she had a lot of time to figure out how she found herself on the outs really quickly, but she had a lot of time to figure out. She had, the second, third, and fourth votes all done. That's 3 days each. So she had 9 days to have a conversation with somebody that didn't annoy that person and to try to just, make friendships, make a bond. Roger and Elizabeth could have been that person she could have bonded with. She could have tried to bond with Scoop, and she could have tried to bond with Alicia and Jeff. And she failed or even Nick, as useless as he is, she failed at all of it. And sorry, Chris. So her downfall is her own fault because there's no reason she shouldn't have been able to pull herself out of this hole. So with that, we're getting into the power rankings. I don't have the last power rankings on hand right now because I have a new paper that I'm on. So we'll just kind of fresh start here. I can kind of remember the ballpark, like if it was a good rating or a bad ranking. So we'll start right off the bat here. Chris, talking about Amber. I think you had a meh rating for Amber last time. Thoughts on Amber? Do you like her, not like her, game-wise?
Yeah, I mean, Amber, she is playing her game in the show, and I mean, she's playing her game very well. I don't personally agree with it. I mean, I feel she should cling to the other side of her tribe and eliminate Jerry, but she's been working with Jerry so long, she might as well keep it going, or at least pretend like she is if she ends up switching. But I mean, Amber is playing a game right now, and she's not getting voted off this week. And I think even if Okafor goes to council next week, she would not be the person to go. So I'm gonna give Amber again. I don't want to give her a meh because she is playing a game, so I'll give her a 6.
A 6 for Amber. Jada, thoughts on Amber in your ranking?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna keep Amber at a 5. Just I don't know where I know. I don't remember exactly. I don't remember where I had her. I know I had her somewhere in the middle. I'm gonna have her at a 5. Just because she is playing and she's helping out the team, but she also is being puppeted by Jerry. And I think if you're ever the puppet, then you're not gonna get as far in the game as you need to go.
Mitchell was a puppet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm gonna. I think I had her at a 5 last time, and I'm gonna give her a 5 because she, like, at least we see her now. We know who Amber is, which at the start of this game we didn't know anything about Amber. But she's so synonymous with Jerry that, like, just like they did with Mitchell, they may just take a strike at her just to piss Jerry off and isolate Jerry more.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna give her a 5. All right, Chris. Segues in perfectly. Jerry, like, dislike, game-wise ranking.
Personally, I dislike every bit of Jerry. She is trying to be a puppeteer, but she's losing puppets. I mean, she has to realize when you can stop treating people like garbage that are in your alliance and, treat them like they mean the world to you, because right now they might be your life in Survivor. I mean, you kind of need them, even though you can't fully trust someone in this game, which is one of the reasons it's so difficult. And Jerry is not balancing her puppeteer role very well, like very many people before. And right now, I think Jerry is probably going to be the person that leaves if Ogokor goes to council. So I'm going to give her a 2.
A 2 going to Jerry. Jada, thoughts on Jerry and your ranking?
Yeah, I agree with Chris. I just don't like her. The difference is that I think I'm going to give her a 6. Yeah, I know. Because here's the thing: is that I know she's causing rifts and divides, and she's putting kind of like targets on her back, and so she's not doing so hot with everybody on her tribe. But she is, at the very least, doing well enough that she had, 2 people that she was playing marionette dolls with, and one of them already got sent home. And I honestly don't think she was that mad about it because at least she wasn't the one that was sent home. And so just because she is able to manipulate other people, I'm going to have to give her a 6.
Yeah, I'm going to give... I'll explain first, right? Jerry, the ship is sinking that she's on with Okafor. But the merge is pretty close. So if she can dodge one more bullet, she has a whole tribe of people on Kucha that she could try to sink her claws into. Jerry is very good at manipulation.
Mm-hmm.
So she could potentially flip a vote if she had. There's more Kucha than there are Ogakor right now. However, if things continue the way they're going for her, that's not good. So I'm gonna give her a 4. Just like, she's got a lot of ground to make up for, but she still has room. So I'm not as comfortable with giving her a 2. I don't think it's all said and done yet. But
I said if Ogakor goes to council.
I know, but it's
our
still your
rankings are for now, people. Right now. Mac has said this many times. They're for this episode. If
Chris
they
is
go
like,
to council
"God damn
next
it,
week,
okay."
she goes home. I guarantee it.
I'm just speculating that if they don't, she dodges one more bullet, or even if they do and Amber goes home.
But it is now.
Because there's
Live in
still
the
a chance
now.
Amber. I'm giving her a 4. That's a pretty good ranking for someone that just lost a vote. Chris, Tell us about Tina.
Tina, like I've always said, she's wild. She's my wild card. I mean, she's flipped a vote now. Tina has played very under the radar, very strategical. She's taking out important people in the alliance that aren't necessarily as important as the head people that have not been taken out right now, which lie in Jerry, Colby, and I guess Keith maybe. I mean, he doesn't have a lot of pull, but at least he's demanding
Some.
to be people to be voted out. But Tina has played very under the radar. Nobody dislikes her, and everybody actually does seem to like her because she has not really stepped on any toes, and she's just kind of, I mean, she's there and she's playing very well, but people aren't noticing it. And that plays very well so far in Survivor. So I'm comfortable in giving Tina a 7.
7 for Tina. Jada, thoughts of ranking that?
Yeah, I love Tina, and I'm just gonna go ahead and agree with everything Chris just said. Everything that he said was exactly what I was thinking, and I was gonna give her a 7 as well. So
I'm going to go ahead. Yeah, you guys said everything on my mind. I'm going to clean sweep this thing with a 7. 'Cause I think she's doing very, very well, and I don't see her going home soon. All right, Chris. Well, that one was easy. Let's talk about Keith.
Yeah, Keith has some rough edges, but he was influential in having the vote flipped and getting somebody eliminated, even though he wasn't really the last group of votes that kept him in the game, but he didn't get voted on. And that's the important part here. They're not going to tribal council. You're safe right now, but don't get comfortable. You can never be comfortable in this game. And you really have to nail down Colby's vote if you do go to tribal council. Keith could play very well right now, but he is not the head guy fully, but he has pull. So I'm going to give Keith a 6 and hope he just kind of smooths his edges.
Jada.
yeah, I'm gonna agree with Chris on a 6. He's Colby really likes him. He does bring some things to the table. He has a certain amount of influence. He's not perfect. He, like Chris said, he has some rough edges and there's some things that he needs to work on. But like overall, I mean, and he got close to going home too. But overall, I think he is doing well enough.
Yeah, Keith is hot and cold, really, for me. Like, I don't even know if I like him as a person or a player, but he has gotten results. How much of that was Tina and how much of that was him, as it's hard to tell. But he recognizes when things are happening. He's very good at telling what's happening socially within the game. So I will give him that. I'm going to give him a 5, though, because I think if Colby does decide to go with Jerry and Amber, he's not going to be here much longer. Like, he's not going to take a shot at Tina before Keith, I think. So with that, he gets a 5 from me. All right, Chris, tell us about Colby.
Yeah, I've been very high on Colby since the beginning, and he hasn't done anything I dislike it. I mean, Colby has made sure to not necessarily step on anybody's toes. He doesn't want to hurt anybody's feelings. He's said many times he wants to play honest, but he's there to play the game. And I mean, he really is. And how could you not like the Texan? I mean, he's great so far. He has a really good game, and he is the deciding vote if his tribe goes to council. And even though that could hurt you later on in the game, right now that spot looks very pretty, and Colby has the power in his alliance right now. And it's very dangerous to be there, but it's also a really good spot to be. So I'm going to give Colby an 8.
All right, an 8 for Colby. Jada, thoughts?
Yeah, I agree with Chris on a lot of what he said. Colby is my number one, obviously, and I think he's doing a really good job this time. He is a lot smarter than I think he lets the other people in the game see. I don't think he shows how smart he is, and they all just assume that he's just kind of like, a little dumb Texan country kid. And so I think him hiding how much intelligence and how much thought he actually puts into things is going really well for him. And like Chris said, he has that middle ground vote, or that middle ground safety, or the middle ground power, if you will. And so I'm going to agree with Chris and give him an 8 as well.
Yeah, when it comes to Colby, that middle ground vote, that's so important. That's such a valuable asset for your game. And Colby's a likable guy. He has a way of making everyone like him, even if they're not on his side. So that gives me a lot of positive feelings of him going toward the merge. And then as a person, I like Colby. I like watching Colby. I have nothing against Colby. So overall, I gotta agree with you guys. I'm gonna give him an 8. I think he's playing a really, really good game. One that I didn't expect someone of his type to pull off. So that takes us out of Ogakor into Kusha. Chris, talk about Alicia.
Yeah, Alicia has had a very strong role so far in the game, and maybe not many people have realized it because she's been working with Varner behind the scenes, and we've only seen their tribe go to council twice now. I mean, 2 people from their entire tribe have been voted off so far, and Alicia, we can't really see how much power she has until more people start to fade away, because she's going to be the really deciding who leaves with Varner. And I mean, we haven't seen it so much because we don't realize how strong of a competitor Alicia can be. But if she sticks with Varner and they continue to run really behind the scenes and kind of run their tribe, I think they have their tribe in the bag. But once the merge happens, if they're not in control, they could go down. So I'm going to give Alicia a 6 and hope she stays in control because she could be a very strong competitor.
Jada.
Yeah, I'm not really sure where I am on Alicia. Just because she isn't, I don't think she's very well liked within the tribe either. I don't remember who was talking about her, maybe Amber. But it was talking about how, like, she is, the queen of taking charge, but she's also, like, in charge of talking shit about everybody else. And so that's not going to get you anywhere if you're just, like, always nagging people and always talking about people in a negative way. So while I do think she is a physical powerhouse in this game, and she is playing an okay game where she's, surely she's trying to think about it, but that blow up between her and Kimmy, and the fact that she is always kind of, I don't want to say negative, but just kind of like condescending towards the other people, I don't think it's going to help her gain much either. So I'm going to give her a 5.
Yeah, I'm going to bounce off of Jada's score with also giving her a 5. My reasoning being, yes, the blow up did not help her game. I believe it was Elizabeth that might have said the talking line, because her and Roger were talking about Alicia being a target. Alicia, she is strategic. She's been working with Varner. She does understand this is a game and kind of the workings of it. But she's very physical, and she's very she loves to be in charge. She's an alpha in her life, and that's hard to translate as we know. I don't know. I just don't foresee her making a lot of good moves in the future. Maybe she will, maybe she won't. It's just right now she's at a could be, couldn't be point. Just like where I rated Keith. It could go either way. That's what this 5 is. It could go either way. Chris, Scoopin is up next.
Yeah, Scoopin has had a very weird game so far. He's just running around in circles, and he's not really sure what to do to become super important to this tribe, so he doesn't get voted off. And that seems to be the only way he thinks he will stay in this game, is by being important and bringing something to the tribe that keeps them alive. I mean, you don't have to be that important to get along in Survivor. I mean, we did see last season, Rich was very important. He did all the fishing, got all the food for his tribe, but you don't have to do that to win the game. And I feel like Scoopin is just, he's grasping at straws here, and he hasn't found his yet. And if he doesn't, I don't think he's the first target, but he's kind of annoying. And buddy, you don't have to matter that much. You just have to play a game, and he's not playing the game. He's just kind of going with what people say and for their tribal council of who they want to leave, and he's not doing a whole lot besides failing at getting food, even though they have food already. So I'm gonna give Scoopin a 4. I mean, dude, get a game, get a life, do something.
Jada.
Yeah, Scoopin, he's a bit of a tryhard. You know, he cares very deeply about portraying this macho hero, savior, provider type of personality or archetype, and he really wants to portray that, and it's becoming his downfall because he's kind of missing it, and he's being kind of annoying about it, and he's not realizing that you don't have to be that. And like Chris said, you don't have to be that important to win. And, you know, in some cases it works, in some cases it doesn't. Because if you think about Dr. Will, he wasn't some like big macho provider. And I know it's a little bit different in Big Brother, but, you know, Will was important, but he wasn't that important. He wasn't always like doing that. He was just a cocky bastard, and that's why he was important. And so you just have to find your own niche. And Scoopin's trying too hard to fill Rich's shoes, I think. So I'm going to agree with the 4 for him as well.
Yeah, thoughts on Scoopin for me. He needs, but like you said, Jada, he needs to find his niche. I mean, he got a pig, awesome. He got a fish, cool. But find something else, because that's one thing that Rich did that Scoopin doesn't do, is that he did a lot of other things around camp, but also just socially interacting with people, gaining alliances, having, even with people he was planning on voting out, he still talked to. I don't think we've actually seen Scoopin converse with somebody strategically. I can't think of one single moment. It's always been like, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to lead this tribe. You know, I don't want to be this tribe leader, but it's what I do. So I originally was going to give him a 5, but I think I'm going to give him a 4 too, because he's floundering, but he's running out of room. There's not a whole lot of wiggle room left here. So yeah, 4 for Scoopin for all of us. I think that's a pretty good score for him. All right, now this is a fun one for me. Chris, tell us about Nick.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. That is my, I mean, what did I do in this draft and in this world to deserve what I'm getting right now? I mean, I don't know if I just did not think about my picks or I was just completely off the board, but oh my god, am I in trouble? Because really, I have no one I can even think of on my team that I would have even liked to have in this point, that I would be confident could lead me to the finals. And of all people, it's Nick. I have not seen a lick of strategy from Nick. I have not seen Nick provide anything for this tribe. And really, the only thing I've seen from Nick is Nick. I mean, where's your Harvard brain at? Where's your natural instincts? Where's the game? Like, what are you doing here? We need to know. I need to know. Like, you're my only guy left. Like, oh my God, I'm so very afraid that I'm going to come in last right now. And of course, if I was anybody else in this podcast, I would bet for me to lose right now. And I don't have a lot of confidence in Nick. I don't see any game in Nick. I have to see something. So, Nick, you're on my team, so I can't give you too low. So, 5, just because you've done nothing. I mean, do something.
5 for Nick. Jada.
Yeah, I agree with a lot of what Chris said. I'm going to go lower, though. I'm going to give him a 3 because I feel like a lot of time when we've seen Nick, he's just kind of like this weird background character, but not really even a character. He's like a background plant. He doesn't really do anything. The only thing that I've really seen out of Nick, other than him just like, I don't know, walking around being there, is the scene where he is terrified for his life with the whole scooping pig thing. And so, like, he's just not looking so hot.
Yeah, Nick, like, Survivor Australia is like a show. Like, Colby, Tina, Scoopin and Varner, they're like the main cast. Keith, even Jerry, Roger and Elizabeth, they're like the supporting characters. We have fun with them. Nick's an extra. That just you recognize him. You're like, there's that guy.
He's like the taco stand guy, and like the cast goes to get tacos a lot, so he's there.
Yeah, you see him. It's kind of like in iCarly, Boogie, the juice stand guy, who always had the things on the stick.
Yeah.
Kind of like him. He's got some lines every now and again, but he's never important to what's happening, nor do we know anything about him besides the one thing that he's there for.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I don't have a lot of faith in Nick. He's had 0 strategy. He's been pretty useless. The only reason I see him going far at all in this game is if someone's like, we don't have to worry about that guy. Let's just drag him along for a while. He's like a Sean, but not entertaining.
Yeah.
Which is almost the worst thing. Like, I'd rather have Sean here, but he's just as useless. And as far as, like, my faith in Nick winning this game, I think, unless the whole cast dies, I don't think Nick's going to win this game. So I'm going to give Nick a 2. Because he's not playing, like, really badly, but he's not even playing, which I think is almost worse. So, yeah, 2 for Nick for me. Sorry, Chris.
It's okay.
With that, we go to Roger. Chris, tell us about Roger.
Oh my God, Roger. If Colby was not in the show, Roger is my favorite person all around. I mean, he's such a nice guy. And oh my God, we saw some strategy from the farmer. Like, oh, what happened here? The nice guy is playing the game, and I don't know how it's going to work because I don't think we've seen this before. And I'm excited to see what it does in the game. Roger is not currently, I believe, on anybody's hit list. I mean, the nice guy could go far, but he can't get a target on his back. So I'm going to give my second favorite person in the show, Roger, a 6.
Jada?
Yeah, I'm going to give Roger a 5. I don't know necessarily that he plays a great game, but I do like him, and he is starting to kind of turn around and like kind of like finally start talk strategy. And I see the potential of him being able to turn himself around. He offers some things, he offers some skills and some guidance, but yeah, I'm going to keep him at a 5 for now.
Yeah, I love Roger. He's one of my favorite people on the show. And I really think he benefits from this relationship with Elizabeth because Elizabeth has shielded him. He very well could have gone home instead of Deb or instead of Kimmy. So, Elizabeth being like, no, don't touch Roger helps him. But also, and then he's conversing with her. They're talking strategy. They just need to have somebody else to influence besides each other, and they get some numbers, and they can go far. I really do. I like Roger's chances.
Drag Nick along with you.
Really?
How about
really,
drag some
that
Nick,
could
maybe some
happen.
scooping too.
If they got those people, they could be in a good spot. But at least they talk to each other instead of Nick, who builds chairs and runs from pigs scooping. So with that, I'm gonna give Roger a 6 because I think he's doing well, but how well I don't know. So that brings us to Elizabeth. Chris, talk to us about Elizabeth.
Yeah, I'm almost the same exact thing as Roger. Super nice. We're finally starting to see a little bit of strategy. I hope things go well because nice people have not necessarily had the best strategy so far. And at least they're looking at people who can be threats later on, but you also have to play now. And as long as they keep talking strategy and maybe bring a few more people in and just get through the merge. So I'm going to give Elizabeth a 5.
Okay, Jada.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with Chris on everything that he said. I like Elizabeth. But for all the same things that I said about Roger, too, I'm going to keep her at a 5 as well.
Yes, and I am going to give Elizabeth a 7 because, her shielding Roger kept Roger in the game. And she's younger. She's more relatable. I think she can integrate herself very well.
Mm-hmm.
There's no age gap. So, with all of that being said, I think she's in a slightly better spot than Roger because if Roger could get taken out, I think she still can pick herself up and go far in this game. So I'm going to give her a 7. Chris, we're going on to our last person, Varner. Talk to us about Varner, Chris.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely the devil on the shoulder. I mean, he says the things you think about but don't want to say. He plays the game you think about but don't necessarily want to play. I mean, it works. He's still in the game. He is emotionally detached. He does not really care about anybody in the game. We've seen it work before. And I personally like Werner. I mean, I kind of have a bias to the evil people in the shows. I do like them as well as Mac. I mean, just really the evil people seem to have done very well so far. And as long as history repeats itself, Varner should be very comfortable and keep the game rolling, dude. But watch your butt and don't get eliminated. So I'm gonna give you an 8.
An 8 for Varner. Jada, thoughts?
I love your dog peeping in the background.
Yeah, I just saw a head peeping up.
I couldn't even focus on what Chris was saying because I was like, Leia.
She's on my lap now.
Oh, puppy. Anyway, sorry. Look at her. So cute. Anyway, yeah, Varner is such a dick. I don't like him. And oh god, and you remember how much you remember me talking about Will, and every time I talked about him, I couldn't even look at the camera. I'd be like, fucking Will. I'm not quite at that point with Varner, but I really don't like him that much. Except for the fact that he, and just like Will, he plays a good game. You know what? Mm-hmm. And I hate the way that he does it. I hate that he's such a dick about it. And there are better ways to play, but for me personally, I think there are better ways to play while still maintaining your humanity. But like Chris said, he is the embodiment of the devil on your shoulder. And so he really is, oh God, he's just such a dick, but he's so good.
Will 2.0.
I wouldn't go that far, but
just a little older.
Yeah,
and might not go as far.
He's had some influence. He's really made some effects in the game, and goes out of his way to. While he goes out of his way to be a dick, he does it in a way that helps further his path. So I'm going to give him a 7.
7.
Yeah.
Yeah. My thoughts on Varner. I'm gonna give him a 7 as well. He's doing well for someone playing as hard as he is and being as devious as he is. He's not really talked about as being targeted. He did receive a vote from Kimmy. So in the event of a tie in the future, you gotta start now with Mitchell. You gotta start thinking about votes that you're receiving. He's doing good. He's good at strategy, and any way you can get it done, you can get it done. I would love to see Varner in the Big Brother house, like we saw in BB2. He made that little appearance and did the devious little block thing, So I'd like to actually see him in that game and see what that looks like, because I think he might even play a better game within the Big Brother house than Survivor. So yeah, with that ends the power rankings. Tune in tomorrow. About 9 o'clock, we'll be covering episodes 6 and 7. So episode 7 will be at the merge, guys. We'll be merged. So yeah, with that, this has been Strategic Gaming. We'll see you next time. Oh man, the camera's already bouncing around here.